I'm worried, and I'm not saying I know it's going to happen. I'm just, one of the things I'm most worried about is false flag attacks on America that they blame on Iran and pull us into World War III, and cyber pandemics, cyber attacks, EMP attacks. And those could be the exact same thing. You know, if they do cyber attack us, it's very likely they'll blame it on Muslim terrorists or on Russian terrorists or whatever, just so they can start a war. Because every fucking war, they start with false flag attacks. They start with whether it's Gulf of Tonkin or 9/11. And I'm not saying that all the 9/11 conspiracies are true, but I am saying that we did not have sufficient evidence or reasoning from 9/11 to go not only to war in Afghanistan in the way we did, but especially to war in Iraq.
Wow.
Like the war in Iraq is the perfect example of a manufactured conflict for totally nefarious reasons that had nothing to do with 9/11. And they realized as they were starting the Iraq war, they realized that, you know, we don't really actually have enough to link this. And then all of a sudden this anthrax scare happens because they were trying to say like they have weapons of mass destruction, they have biological weapons. And then suddenly anthrax gets mailed out to all the people in Congress, and not all, but like a bunch of these guys in Congress that are against the Iraq war. They all get all these anthrax letters, and a couple of them get sick. I think 1 or 2 of them died. And then a couple fake anthrax letters go out to people that are in support of the Iraq war. And then when they actually tested that anthrax is such a specific biological agent that it only is manufactured in a few places in the world. And the spores in those anthrax letters came from a CIA lab. And we didn't know that at the time, but it took a little bit of time for them to do that analysis and realize that there's literally only one lab in the world that can make this type of anthrax, and it is a CIA lab. Damn. And that was 100% a deep state operation intended to be like, look, Saddam is sending anthrax to us. He's trying to kill us, and to stoke all this fear so they could convince Colin Powell to go out and toe the line, so that Condoleezza Rice could go out and toe the line and say, we need to get those fucking Iraqis, when they had nothing to do with it.
Jeez.
And Iraq has been in turmoil ever since. Like, we do this over and over in the Middle East.
You messed up a whole country for our
well, for Israel's gain too. Because there was a report called the Clean Break Report written by a whole bunch of neocons and Zionists years before, even before 9/11. And they were saying that we need, in order to reshape the Middle East in the interest of Israel, we need to go to war with these 7 countries. And I never remember the whole list, but it was like Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, Iran, Somalia, I think, maybe I forget. And to this day, we have gone to war with basically every single one of them.
Wow.
And it was one after the other, after the other, after the other. And it was explicitly stated that this is the Clean Break Report was explicitly stated that this is how we need to reshape the Middle East in Israel's and America's interest in order to, you know, basically control the geopolitical nature of the Middle East. And 9/11 just seemed to play directly into the hands of that whole neocon like agenda that was the heart of the George Bush presidency. Like, not just the Richard Pearls of this world that most people have never heard of that were kind of under the administration, but like the Dick Cheneys and Donald Rumsfelds that were right at the top of that administration. That's not to mention that George Bush is from the Skull and Bones secret society. He's the son of this long line of very sketchy motherfuckers. Like, clearly that whole presidency was a carefully orchestrated, like, not coup of the American government, because we were already fucked, but it was that was not like, oh no, a terrorist attacked our buildings, now we'll respond by going to Afghanistan and Iraq. It was, we want to go to war with these guys over here. Oh look, a terrorist attacked our buildings, we're going to war over there. Right?
It's so messed up because I have a lot of veterans on the show, and some of them are waking up now.
100%. You're like, so tragic.
They were used as pawns, basically.
It's so tragic to watch, because like, respect to them for fighting for their country and for serving to protect American values. But it's so sad how many of the veterans that come home later have to realize that they were lied to and that they weren't actually protecting American values. And so I've got all the respect in the world for veterans, but man, all the condemnation I could ever level against the politicians and corrupt oligarchical class that are manipulating these conflicts for their financial gain. I always come back to the phrase, all wars are bankers' wars. And the more you learn about history, the more that is true over and over and over with every war that you could possibly research.
Yeah, I've heard back in the day, certain banks would fund both sides, right?
Oh, absolutely. Still to this day, we fund both sides 100%. And sometimes that's funding both sides. I mean, like, for example, all these wars against terrorists, we fucking founded those terrorists. We funded those terrorists. Like, we founded the Mujahideen, which later morphed into Al-Qaeda. The Taliban, we've been funding the Taliban. Like ISIS, we funded ISIS. All of those things, we built them up, and we built them up as, you know, rebel groups to fight against communism, or rebel groups to fight against that evil guy or that evil guy. And then we fund them until it's like, oh, we need an enemy. they're the enemy now, that they become the scapegoat to take us to war. And that's true now with these terrorist groups, but it was true all the way back in the day in like the Vietnam conflicts, the Korea conflicts, like especially in the World War II situation. It's like a whole wild rabbit hole. Like the World War II one is going to break open in a huge way, I think, in the next year, because yeah, there's like all this Holocaust questioning that people get into, which I don't really give a shit to get into, because it's just so muddied and convoluted and there's so much hatred around it. And like, certainly the Holocaust did happen. Like, certainly it was atrocious and it was fucking evil. And it's well documented, not just in ways that you can disprove, but like, to avoid that, we funded the German miracle. Like, after World War I, the Treaty of Versailles was designed to destroy the German economy. It was designed to, after World War I, make Germany pay like trillions of marks of reparations they could have never paid off. And that turned into this Weimar Republic that just cratered all of Germany and destroyed their economy. And then Western industrialists from around the world came in and bought it up for pennies on the dollar and rebuilt Germany. Germany didn't just like magically invent money that just suddenly came out of nowhere. Money flowed in from investors. And that's why when World War II started, like our CIA, Alan Dulles, the founder of the CIA, he was a lawyer at this company that represented all these other companies like IG Farben, the company that was manufacturing the Zyklon B. He worked for them. Like, he was friends with all of them. American industrialists helped build that German economy. Like, I haven't been able to like source it 100% yet, but there's lots of evidence and accusations that American and Western corporations helped to maintain and run the concentration camps.
Wow.
Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah. And like, that's a very complicated one because there's so much propaganda around it. But like, there is evidence out there that is starting to be dug up. And I'm certainly not saying that the Nazis were good. I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy. He was a fucking psychopath, especially by the end of the war and all that meth. But it's not as simple as like, we're the good guys and they're the bad guys. It's like mostly normal people tend to be the good guys unless they get psyoped by a crazy political class that turns them into fucking bloodthirsty monsters,
right,
which you can see several examples of now around the world and in the past around the world. And I certainly would include Muslim extremists in those categories. Yeah. They can get fucking crazy and horrible. But like, it's the rich motherfuckers on top that are funding all of these conflicts and making money and investments into everything. Like, first fund the conflict that destroys something, then fund the rebuilding, and you're making money on every single piece of these systems. Not to mention the inflation that comes out of printing all this money. It's such a scandal. It's so, I mean, it can be a real black pill if you forget about all the good in this world.
Well, a lot of people in history class growing up were taught about the war, so they're so programmed to think it was good versus evil.
Bingo. The more you learn about like what's really going on out here, the more you realize that everything in mainstream public education is essentially paid programming. Because who publishes those books? I'm not going to say it. Y'all can look it up. Like, who writes those history? Who funds the historians? Who funds the colleges where the historians are getting their degrees?
Right.
And it's a very complex system. I'm not saying it's as simple as like, I paid you to tell them all lies. It's like, it's a complex network of censorship and of grant funding and knowing like, I'm not going to get my study funded if I don't, support this donor's interests or whatever it is. It's super complex, but we're seeing it more and more. Like, COVID is such a great example because it exposed so many people to how you can purchase science and how you can purchase mainstream education. You can purchase the Ivy League institutions. And we saw that they have over the last many, many decades. And when you start to realize that that is not just about science in the vaccine field or in the medical fields, but it's about science in the history fields. It's about science in all these other fields. And it's really like the veil is coming down. And so it feels like the world is so shitty right now because we're learning all these things. But I would argue that that's the step towards the light. Is first you shine the light on all the evil that was already going on our whole lives. Like, when I was born, our president had come to power by helping smuggle drugs at the Iran-Contra situation. He'd been smuggling cocaine through Mena, Arkansas. And then he was hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein, raping kids on an island, allegedly. And so like, it seemed hunky-dory. It's like the 90s. Everything's great. No one even realized it's so fucking good. Like, Bill Clinton rocks, whatever. But then you shine a light back on, you're like, oh, fuck, that's super dark.
Yeah.
But that's how we expose it and get to a better world.
Yeah, because Epstein was the guy back in the day. Right?
Absolutely.
Everyone wanted that guy.
Yeah, and it's pretty crazy. So like, we just got a new prime minister of Canada up north who's like a fucking ultra uber banker, super sketchy technocratic banker. Just appointed him like 2 days ago. And then it comes out, there's a photo of him hanging out with Ghislaine Maxwell.
Wow.
It's like, God damn it, every single time
I thought Justin resigned. Is he still?
Yeah, he resigned. I don't know how fucking Canadian politics work. He resigned a long time ago, and it's like pending finding a suitable replacement.
Okay.
And so they have found a suitable replacement. And that suitable replacement just so happens to have managed the Bank of Canada, if I remember correctly, during the 2008 financial collapse, after it. And then he became the top seat at the Bank of England, which is like, that's fucking sketchy. He's in this thing called the Group of 30, the G30, which is essentially a group of 30 of the most powerful financial overlords of our world that get together and have, I'm sure, really great conversations about how to make the world better for all of regular people. No, Soros is not, but I'm sure he's friends with all of them. It's like people that are at the top of like the Bank of International Settlements and the Bank of England and the Federal Reserve. And it's like literally the banker elite. Look up Group of 30, read their Wikipedia page, and then go look for other articles. It's fucking crazy. Yeah. And so he's this guy that just got put in Canada, just north of us. And he's been openly against Trump. He's openly pushing for, we need to have, what was it called? He called it global he's like, we need to replace the US dollar supremacy around the world with a new digital currency. And the term they use on his Wikipedia page that I haven't had time to dig into yet is something like a global hegemonic currency, a digital hegemonic. They literally use the word hegemonic, which is like, hegemony is, I mean, it's a complicated word, and I don't actually like have a really great definition, but hegemony is like when your overlords rule you. It's like when the rich and powerful rule over everything. It's not good. It's a very weird choice of words to use.
So it's not looking better.
No. I mean, it's really looking like he's getting put. I mean, I hate to get optimistic about Trump because he's been fucking up so much, but it kind of looks like they're putting in a guy who's super competent and liberal and evil in Canada to kind of try to fight back against Trump and to fight Trump's like economic policies and the tariff war. And hopefully, like, because we're about to have a dollar collapse. Our economy is about to completely explode. Oh yeah. The dollar has, whether it happens this year or in 4 years or in 8 years, it's coming.
Damn.
We are at the end of the dollar cycle, and every economist knows it. Everyone has been talking about it. And the stock market is at this crazy fucking bubble of fake made up like Nvidia value right now that is not real.
Tesla's been crashing.
It's crazy, and it could crash at any moment, and they have the power to pop that bubble. All these, like during COVID, they printed a quarter to 2/3, a third of all the dollars that are in circulation. I forget the stat. All that money, they got it during COVID, and they didn't just put it into us they invested it into all these companies. That's why Nvidia's stock went fucking crazy. That's why all these stocks bubbled up during COVID like that. And they have the ability to pull that out and to pop at any time. And so it really is looking like we're prepared. They are preparing. We're fucked in that regard. They're preparing to, hopefully, and I think in their eyes, is you've got this bubble and you're ready to pop it. You're ready to crash the economy. And suddenly, here's the solution. We've got these brand new digital currencies, central bank digital currencies that'll solve all the problems, will fix all the debt. And that is like the road straight to technocratic servitude. Like that's the road straight to hell. If we accept a centralized digital currency where they can turn it off if you say the wrong things, they can take your bank accounts, they can limit what you can buy, they can say, like, if that's the road that leads to, oh, I'm sorry, you're only allowed to drive 5 miles today because your words on that podcast the other day were not sufficiently in line with government policy.
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode.